Recording.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Rotarians. Today, we have a very special guest with us. Her name is Gail Auguston-Koppen. Koppen. Yes.
Yeah. Koppen.
Auguston-Koppen.
Yeah.
Auguston-Koppen. She has been. She's run her own company and executive for 39 years at an international level, mainly pulling in C-suite executives for medical implant companies and international corporations. She's used this amazing insight and into people and this amazing international experience to help so many incredible projects around the world evolve year over year and continue to build desolate locations, desolate dark corners of the world into entrepreneurial powerhouse hubs and communities. It's absolutely incredible. You're about to not just hear me with my introduction, but you're about to hear it straight from her. So Gail, thank you so much for coming on today. Do you want to just tell people who you are, what is your profession? I know you're on a bunch of different boards, like full stacked. Everybody wants a piece of you.
Yes, my pleasure. I'm Gail Auguston-Koppen. I owned my own executive retained search firm, as Audie said, for 39 years with global medical device manufacturers. I think people that know me and worked with me both in business and on my nonprofit boards and other leadership roles would describe me as an entrepreneur, a trailblazer, a connector of people, a visionary, and a community builder. And those are all things that I love to do. And anything that changes lives and is transformation in a community is my passion. So it's a pleasure and honor, Audie, to be here today with you.
So how would you say, I know we've briefly touched on it already, but how would you say you use your unique professional knowledge in your service projects locally and globally? And maybe you could hear a little bit about what you're doing with Hope.
Yes. So I'm on the board of Spring of Hope. We have 60 schools in South Africa. It was started in 2007 by a high school student. And we have grown this exponentially with not only the community boreholes, but we put community gardens in, teaching the community permaculture, waterless toilets, and a recent project that we started pivoting to actually in 2018 with a grant for junior achievement programs in financial literacy and coding for 5 years through Standard Bank was brought into our Spring of Hope first primary Beretta, our flagship grade school, and then Acorn to Oaks. And we really believe that the empowerment, the entrepreneurial training of the people is what will transform the community. When you have 85% poverty and unemployment about the same in rural areas, entrepreneurship is the road out of poverty. So that is what I'm very excited about working on when we talk about Rotary and the things that we've done both globally and locally. Globally, I brought the first global grant to the Fort Lauderdale Rotary Club. They were a 97-year-old organization and never did a global grant. And so the first global grant I brought to them was 16 early education teachers with the Johannesburg, South Africa Rotary Club. And it was an 18-month training program that empowered and trained the early education teachers that then went back into the community. That was very exciting and very successful. And as a result of that, we have now done a second global grant internationally with this same Rotary Club, the Johannesburg Club, for 40 family gardens where we're teaching them permaculture, and they are teaching their communities with food and just food and fruit trees and just ways of eating healthy in the community. And then most recently, this isn't a global grant, but our club was involved with the Portland Rotary Club, New Generation Club, in doing a borehole for clean water and also permaculture gardens at the Center for Disabled Students in the community there in Acorn Hook. Again, a very successful project. So those have been three of the international projects that I've brought to the club in the last, since I joined the club, which has been 6 years ago. And locally, Dillard High School, which is a 75% poverty school here in Fort Lauderdale, I was able to bring Junior Achievement, the Company of the Year program, their fellows program, into the school 5 years ago. And we have now probably run over 100 students through this Junior Achievement program, which has been very successful. And I also was able to introduce in 2019 the very first Rotary Interact Club, which allowed us to send some of the students to the RILA, the Rotary Leadership Weekend. We've introduced them now to the Youth Exchange Program. Being a former exchange student myself to Switzerland in high school, I knew how life-changing that could be. And we wanted to bring this to them as well, which has been introduced this year. So locally and globally, I've been very engaged in Rotary projects.
I will, to Gail's point, something that's very unique about Rotary that you don't see with a lot of other organizations is a lot of organizations will focus on feeding someone and giving them a fish for a day. But with the Rotary Service Project, something that's a very unique thing you get to experience is teaching people to fish for a lifetime. And you could see with Gail's projects, like that's just a few examples of the amazing types of things that you get to work on if you join the Rotary Club. There's international and global, international and local projects that every club gets to work on at some point throughout the year. But thank you for sharing all of that with us. I think that's very inspiring to some of our listeners who are on the fence, not sure if Rotary is right for them, not sure if it'll allow them to showcase their intellectual knowledge and their desire to collaborate with other high-performing, high-achieving professionals. But next question is, did you join Rotary, and what made you decide to join?
So I joined Rotary in the mid-90s. At that point, I'd had my business for quite a while. I had moved up through the chairs nationally, been president of the international, or the National Association for my industry, as well as the international position for 3 years. And I've just been very blessed. And Rotary appealed to me because it was international. As I said, my whole focus after being in foreign exchange student was global. And so looking at the Rotary Club in Portland, Oregon, even though I was traveling a lot with my business, I was very much embraced their international projects, which their projects at that time were in Guatemala. And so then I came down here to Florida in 2000 to get out of the rain in Portland. And I was bi-coastal for 15 years. And so I joined the Rotary Club here in Pompano Beach for 13 years and was involved very much in fundraising for the military families and a number of other projects. But it wasn't until 2017 when I went to the Fort Lauderdale Rotary Club to present basically a year-end report on a Spring of Hope, since they had been supporting our water projects in South Africa, that they gave me an application and said, you need to join our club. And because they were supporting our projects in South Africa. And so in 2017, I transferred to the Fort Lauderdale Rotary Club, which has been phenomenal because they have been so open and so receptive to these international projects that I brought to them in 2018. And that's another thing about Rotary. I was a new Rotarian in this club. And yet after 1 year of a membership, I brought them an international global grant that they had never done before. And the board and foundation approved it, and off we ran. And so I think if you are a connector, if you are somebody that's a visionary and a community builder and have a good idea, the Rotary clubs will listen. So that's another, I think, big plus for people that are maybe on the fence, not sure, can I break into the Rotary system and make a difference? And I'm saying, yes, you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you feel like you can't your own club, then maybe visit a few of the clubs around you, because sometimes you're not in the club that's necessarily right for you, but it's like a stone's throw away will be totally receptive and on board with what you want to do. Rotary is very amazing, and every club has their own passion projects as well. So that is something to consider, is if you're very passionate about a particular type of community service or global service project, to check out what all the clubs around you are working on. But it sounds like you aligned, your ideals aligned perfectly with the Club of Fort Lauderdale, which is good for us. Good for us. So what is final question, and then I'll let you go. What is one thing that you'd want to tell those who are thinking of joining Rotary International?
I would say that if you love business and you love changing lives and you love making a difference in the world, that there isn't a better organization to be part of than Rotary International, because you are with like-minded people who are service above self, number one, who are a lot of fun. And wherever you go in the world, and any time I travel, if I was in Paris, I went to the Paris Club. When I'm in South Africa, I go to the South Africa Rotary Club. You can make friends all over the world. And it's a great way to transfer your business skills into changing lives and transforming communities.
And giving back. Absolutely. I've personally been to 48 countries. And the nice thing about Rotary is no matter where you go, you'll immediately feel at home with Rotarians, because there are certain core values that every Rotary club retains regardless of the country. So I definitely agree with that, the loving the international aspect of being able to plug in and feel immediately at home with the local population, regardless of where you are. Well, Gail, thank you so much for your time and for jumping on this call with us. The photos in your background, I have to ask, these are all of South Africa, or what's the?
Yes. Some of them are local artists. The leopard that's behind me is my photo. I have gone to South Africa every year for 4 to 6 weeks doing photography. And so I have a lot of photos in my place here and on drives, thousands of photos. My husband did the videos and I did the still shots. So we love the big cats, lots of big cats.
What kind of camera do you have?
Well, I've had a number of them. I've had the Canons, I've had the, and I'm just blanking on the one I have now, to be honest. I have a long lens and a short lens, so that you can, because sometimes those cats are hanging in the tree and sometimes they're sitting on the ground, but it's always a thrill. It's always a thrill. And so, yeah, I love South Africa. It's just an amazing place. And we have a lodge, Tulani, that we put into auctions that raises money for a Spring of Hope. And in fact, we're having the Spring of Hope Gala up in New York, in Palm Beach, that I mentioned for New Year's Eve. But anyway, I highly recommend the country, and no better way to go than to also do a service project with Rotary.
And to stay at the lodge. For those of you tuning in, we will put into the notes underneath of this video links so that you could see more about that lodge and maybe participating in the auction, as well as links to the other projects that Gail has mentioned. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Gail, for the time and for answering my questions about these photos as well. The one of the leopard is very neat. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye. I have to look up Adi.